Hi, everybody. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. What you doing? Some of you were here earlier in the day when I taped a how-to video with Stuttering John. If that was you, welcome back. Thanks for visiting with me twice in one day. I know it's a lot. Um, I know. I know we've got some of us have too much time on our hands, and some of us are extraordinarily busy in spite of the fact that we have too much time on our hands. And to both of you, I salute you. Let me open up my chat on the other window so I can take care of some of this business. And whoops, I almost knocked my bowl of dates over. Yes, that's my idea of a snack. Go figure. Um, so obviously, I was upstairs and I was just about to run downstairs, and I start the show, and then I get my beverage of choice for this particular one, which is just hot coffee, and it's hot. And as I'm making it, I start talking to my girl, and she goes, "You're not short of things to talk about, are you?" These days, and she's like it's almost like these folks in the Republican caucus are worse than Trump because there's a multitude of them and they seem to take up just as much space. So thanks. Glad you like the hoodie. It's a Lab Rats original. It's one of the few in existence. But so and she's absolutely right. I'm overwhelmed. Between Can't Stop Lying and I, we're just like a car crash of clips that we are hunting down all day long, looking at stuff. And every time I find something that is insane, YouTube's down for some reason. Let's see. I'll check, make sure we're up and going and that kind of thing. We hope so. I'll make sure. We'll go back through here. If that is the case, this seems to be. Are the YouTube folks? Are you guys in there? Is YouTube not working for somebody or anybody or somebody? Oh, somebody. What don't know. Is everybody in? What in the world? Skip. I love when I'm given are you a robot moment, and you're like, you're asking for things that aren't even there. Okay, YouTube's working good there. Okay, you might be it might be the page you're on. It's all kind of stuff. So excellent. We are up and running and all is well. And I thank you for joining me today. And I would like to say for the record, thank you for joining me every day you're here, whatever day that might be. Some of you come and go, every other day. Some of you only when the news seems to warrant it. But above all, I want you guys to know that I appreciate you being here, period. I really do. It's fun to see you guys in the chat. Sometimes I'm like, I wonder what happened to so-and-so. And then they come back and you're like, oh, good. They were just living life and doing life stuff. So welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share the show if you would right now as we start out. That's the one thing I keep forgetting to do is tell you guys to share the show. So on whatever sites you frequent the most, a link and a hello would be great, if you could do that. Yeah. So don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you've got, we know we've got some trolls here. They jump right in, especially when I give a title like we have today. Ooh, boy. The trolls seem to jump in and go, nuh-uh, he's still the best president ever. He's the best president ever. It's so the best. And Trump is the best, and he's did the best stuff. He did stuff nobody else could do, like VA choice and the biggest tax cut that never happened. And so yeah, he did everything bigger than everybody else. Like the deficit, he's the best. So whenever I put his name in the title, that's what we end up getting. It's a good time. So, and thank you for the stars. I appreciate the support on Facebook. Thank you for the super chats ahead of time. I'll make sure that especially after the lesson I gave to Stuttering John today, I'll make sure that I'm going to be extra saluty. So, Rhonda, thank you for that super chat, and Raphael as well. He's asking me if I've ever tried fasting. As a matter of fact, I fast almost every day. I do 5 days a week of OMAD, one meal a day. And then on the rest of the week, I do a regular 16/8 fasting schedule. So I don't eat or consume calories for 16 hours a day, and then 8 hours to eat and get all my food in. So there you go. Now you know. I've talked about that in the past. So, you know, that might be another separate live stream altogether. Yeah, it's a good time. So, oh my goodness, Benny Loco, thank you very much, and reminding everybody to what are you waiting for? Give a thumbs up. Throw it in there. You can do it right now. Just go down there and click it right now. I'll wait. I'm very impatient. I'll just go back to the show. So like I said, there's a lot to be said about the current state of lunacy on the right. Not the least of which is everyone's favorite, not favorite, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Large Marge, whose goal in life seems to be that the people she doesn't like die, but somebody else does it for her because he really can't be. I mean, it's a lot. So here's Marjorie Taylor Greene, in case anybody's questioning whether or not she was part of the fomenting of violence. And you wait until Trump decides she's a nobody and decides to go, I didn't, you know, like some civil suit or something. One of the dead or injured, their family starts to, you know, goes to sue Trump for what he did. And then, you know, he'll go, I don't know, these folks were pushing the crazies. I just said we need to fight in metaphorically. They're the ones who were saying, you watch, he's going to throw her under a bus if it saves him, you know, $25. But yeah, here you go.
But here's the deal. If this generation doesn't stand up and defend freedom, it's gone. Yeah. And once it's gone,
guys, if you don't defend freedom, it's gone. If the government doesn't have the freedom to force Twitter to carry Trump's messages, what First Amendment do we have? If you can't have a 60-round magazine that you can, you know, carry while walking pantsless around a preschool, what real Second Amendment do you have?
It doesn't come back by itself. The only way you get your freedoms back is it's earned with the price of blood. We can't.
I beg your pardon? It's earned with the price of blood. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and suspect that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not expecting to pay that price herself. This is not something, she's not going to sacrifice herself unless she's just kind of straight up going, you know, Suicide bomber.
Can't be too busy or too complacent or too worried about offending someone anymore. There's no more excuses.
Yeah, there's no more excuses. Don't worry about offending someone by getting their blood all over the floor. What?
This is it. November 3rd, freedom is on the ballot. You have a choice of either voting for freedom by voting for Donald J. Trump for president again for 4 more years, voting Republican straight down your ballot, or you're going to vote for socialism and vote to completely end America as we know it. And this is no joke.
Yeah, it is a joke. You're a joke. You don't know what socialism is. It's ridiculous. That's your boogeyman word. It's been the boogeyman word since Medicaid and Medicare showed up. None of this is socialism. Not even the stuff the Democratic Socialists talk about wanting to do is socialism. None of it, not any of it. Socialism doesn't qualify. I know people use that word slapdash. It doesn't qualify for anything the Democrats are trying to do. It is simply the democratic use of tax dollars. It's not socialism. If it was socialism, then Joe Biden would have lost to Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders would have run on knocking down all private hospitals and creating Medicaid centers. Because that's what's required for socialism. The state supplies doctors and facilities. You go to a state-supplied doctor and facility. That's how socialism works. If the state, no matter how much money they do or don't give you, gives you money and you take it to a private individual and use that money given to you by the government to pay for your medical care, that ain't socialism. There's a very distinct difference. Bernie is not a democratic socialist. He uses that term. They float it all over. Bernie is simply talking about focusing the democratic taxation that we have in this country on Medicare as a weapon of choice for providing for the general welfare. It's really just not totally agreeing with you there, Hal. Why tear down a perfectly fine hospital building? Well, you would just hand it over to the state. What I'm saying is all the private hospitals would be gone. The state would pay for the hospital directly, pay for the doctor directly. You would never see any of the bill part of it. None of that is being argued. Even in Medicare for All. Medicare for All is the government pays you a certain amount of money, gives you a certain amount of money that goes to this hospital, that pays this secondary thing. They bill Medicare. It's a single payer system. They bill Medicare. They still have private clients, I suppose. But there's a huge difference between the state establishing a hospital, and that's the only place to go. There are no private hospitals. There are no private doctors. There are no private anything. There's simply the state built and run and staffed and outfitted in terms of supplies facility. That's it. Okay? That's socialism. That's the socialism version. What we're talking about, and even when you're talking about Medicare for All, what you're talking about is democratic taxation. That we as Democrats and we as individuals in the United States give our money to the government in the form of taxes, and then we have a say through our representatives what we would like that spent on. Now, if the government spending our money on the military is socialism, then these folks are for socialism. And actually, considering military bases, military personnel, military gear, military clothing, military food, like the fact that it all happens on bases is actually closer to being a socialist structure in terms of how government creates something and pays for it than how we do healthcare or even propose to do healthcare in this country. You get me? That's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. But it allows these idiots to use the word socialism as a boogeyman when they don't even have the ability to comprehend the complexity of the issue. You get me? I know a lot of vernacular stuff. I know people are like, well, we call it socialism, but I don't care what you call socialism, and I don't care that the word socialism has softened to mean other shit. But the reality is it has a very distinct purpose, and it's an ism. You know what I mean? That's like saying, Nazism. I mean, is it really it's an ism. There's an ism to it. Conservatism. I mean, by conservatism, religious conservatism, I mean, we can still not, you could be an atheist and you could also be have 9 kids out of wedlock, never go to church. Like that, like at that point, you're just slowly eking all the meaning out of the word. Communism, socialism, capitalism, they're all meaningful words that attribute to certain things. And capitalism, the irony is, socialism is a governmental policy. Capitalism is simply an economic system. There's no capitalism or socialism in terms of our system set up, certainly not in Northern Europe, certainly not in the Netherlands. But so the word, this crowd loves socialism because it's just the next, it has now become completely interchangeable with communism, and it's a boogeyman word. Got me? Okay, let's just carry on. It just drives me nuts, and nobody seems to care.
I do not want you to be able to defend yourself, because if you...
Well, in socialism, I guess, technically speaking, since our Constitution says that you have the right to keep and bear arms in regard to a well-regulated militia, if America became a socialist country, but still maintained its Constitution, which, unless it found a way to get rid of all those things, literally, every American would be supplied with, get this, an American-made gun made in an American factory and would be mandated to have a gun. Seriously, in a socialist, if she really thinks this, socialism is just another way to call your opponent a son of a bitch. Absolutely. It's a boogeyman word. Thank you. I appreciate you guys care, but some of the folks don't. We seem to talk at cross purposes. It's like gay people adopting the word queer. Yes, as an off point, yes. That or gay for that matter. I don't know necessarily that my gay friends are any happier and more vibrant than some of my straight friends at times. I don't think you're not in a permanent emotional state of hooray, like it's silly. But, but socialism being an actual doctrine matters. And if it was really socialism, you would be assigned a gun and expected to show up as part of the military at some point.
You can defend yourself, guess what? Then you can stop a tyrannical government. However, if they
a tyrannical government, and this guy's like, oh. By the way, when she says you can stop a tyrannical government, she means kill elected representatives or shoot cops and soldiers when they come to your house when you're breaking the law. That's what she's talking about. Because she voted for Donald Trump. So tyranny, fascism, those are fine with her as long as she's on the top side of that line. As long as she's in the above the line, she's on the top deck of the Titanic. She doesn't give a rat's ass about anybody below it. But this is lip service.
Take away your guns, then you can't, not only can you never stop a tyrannical government, you can never even defend yourself if someone is breaking in your home.
No one's taking your gun away. I mean, Joe Biden actually recommended getting a shotgun for home defense if you're going to have a gun. Like this whole, these are your two choices in life. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, you need a gun in case your government comes to get you or a stranger comes to get you. No wonder this woman doesn't understand that you would call the government most of the time, 85% of the time, you have a problem, you're going to call the government in the form of the cops or the FBI to help you out in an emergency like that. 15% of the time, there will be an interchange that is quick where a physical confrontation or perhaps an exchange of fire would happen over the course of all across the country. And that has a lot to do with geography, how far away you are from town, all that kind of stuff. And we've talked about this a little bit about how a lot of country types don't understand how city types feel about guns because we have a different experience. It's very important. Yeah. And what she's talking about is when she decides to sovereign citizen some state land and, Bundy style have some cattle graze on it without paying the rest of the town for that land, which everybody's supposed to share. She wants, when the feds show up, she wants to, put a wall of women up in front of them and have a sniper on a bridge sit there and put cops at the crosshairs. This back to blue nonsense. Anybody who says we got to fight to, be able to fight a tyrannical government doesn't back the blue. They back the blue until such time as they want to beat one to death. That's how there's no way this doesn't lead to that.
And that's the reality. This is where we are today in 20.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You're not in that reality. No one in the Republican side of things that's decrying freedom, they're going to take our guns. This is the end of the republic. There's no more democracy. They're canceling all of us. None of that is real, okay? Can we stop pretending that they're being canceled because of their conservative beliefs or that they're in danger of the UN jack troops assigned by Joe Biden to come to their door and snatch up all their guns, for Christ's sake? None of that is true. None of it. Oh, my mic is very hot. I'm very angry. I'm very up there. None of that is true. Thank you. None of it. This woman is sitting in a warm studio that somebody has in their house with a giant Second Amendment poster, and this guy can wear a shirt that says, I am 1,776% sure that no one is taking my guns. Well, yeah, because nobody's trying, dipshit. No one. If you can wear a printed shirt like that and sit in front of a banner like that and talk like you're talking, if he was in fear of this for real, he wouldn't be able to do any of this. Ask Alexei Navalny. These assholes think that they're the staff that works at Alexei Navalny's house. You understand? This is embarrassing. This woman has never skipped a dessert. She eats at nothing but chain restaurants. Her freedom is not being attacked. She's not going to lose any of her inalienable rights. None of that. None of the stuff that's even proposed by the Democrats is a violation of your basic freedoms. It is a natural refinement. Seriously, the more freedoms you have in a country, the more finely sliced the laws have to be so that you maintain as many of those freedoms as possible. So you have a thing like a law against machine guns so that you can have guns right up to being machine guns. Now, if somebody comes along and takes a single shot rifle with a 30 clip ammo capacity, a 30 round mag attached to it, that requires a new law of consideration because these laws were written when they were just muskets. And the rest of us have to get on with our lives. And there's no way we can check somebody psychologically without establishing a law that would be a violation of your freedoms where everybody has a psych check once a year. We're not doing that. So so the law is balanced in the other direction. Thank you, Yolanda. They have a platform and no, she says in the super chat, and no immediate defender to check their speak. Yeah, there's nobody there pushing back on this. And that's exactly my point. Marjorie Taylor Greene got elected to Congress. She's sitting here with this douchebag in his, you're not going to cold dead fingers, stupid shirt, and is like, we're going to protect the Second Amendment. Blowing off, we love the Second Amendment. Oh, buddy, we love the Second Amendment. That whole regulated militia part we don't like, which again is like saying, I love the New Testament. I just can't stand it when they say Jesus' name. Know what I mean? If you don't love the whole, yes, Zachamania says, help, I'm being muzzled in the super chat. Thank you. All these folks with this just like the tyranny of the government and oh my God, and they're coming for us and we're being canceled and we're not even allowed to think. We can't even think these things. We're not allowed to think and say and think. Yeah, you are. But freedom extends only to the end of your nose in that regard. And no one else is responsible for carrying your message to the rest of the world. This video, and partly because it's madness, has 1 million views. This woman's message has been a million views. But please tell me how you're being muzzled and how the tyranny of the government, the tyranny, I'm sick and tired of this lazy BS. Unbelievable. You are not being canceled. You just can't behave yourself in someone else's house. There is nothing stopping Parler from existing now. They had to move their server to a Russian server overseas, but the internet goes everywhere. Right? Freedom is Amazon has the freedom to tell you to go pound sand, and you have the freedom to go pound sand. And the idea, criminy, the idea that we're being denied our rights. These are our rights. You don't have a right to stand in someone else's house and bark nonsense and call for blood and have them go, all right, I guess we got to put up with it. I mean, freedom of speech being what it is. Congress shall make no law abridging the right of free speech or religion or peaceful assembly or the redress of grievances. But the public sure as shit can. And if a city, Congress can't make a right abridging your Second Amendment, right? That's in there. Congress can't make a law, but there's a whole lot of states' rights out there. Republicans used to be for that. So if a city or a county or a state even wants to make laws abridging the right to carry a gun, they damn well have the right to. Which is why some states have open carry. Some states don't allow weapons inside the city limits. Where they have egregious gun control laws. And most of the problems they have aren't related to the fact that there are stringent laws. Their problem are the places around them that don't, that basically live off that like a tick. I am indeed dressed like it's cold here, because it is. So can she be fired? She can be removed from office. She can be drummed out by the Congress. She could be expelled. She could be recalled in her own district. There's lots of remedies. But, I mean, this woman is a goon. This guy is a goon. They're talking out of their ass. None of their rights are being violated. None of them. I'm sick of this nonsense. I'm sick of this whole, oh my God, they're coming for our guns. They're coming for our guns. No, we're not. No, we're not. If you need more than 60 rounds, in a magazine for self-defense, then you're defending yourself against cops and soldiers. And I'm guessing you're in a cartel or one of these assholes selling like fake medical supplies, or you're straight up planning on Wacoing your way out of this world. If 60 round magazines are outlawed, only outlaws will have 60 round magazines. Only outlaws would want 60 round magazines. What are you talking about? Margie Green added Taylor so she could have the MTG. Is that why she did it? So she can have an AOC. She wants a right-wing squad. Again, Hal, can you mention that? Yeah. Oh, yes. So Zachamania is saying that in the super chat. Put the so she can be MTG to combat AOC. Which is, again, this is all branding. Anybody, talk about privilege. If you have the ability to create your own AOC for your branding exercise while you're in Congress, your rights are not being infringed. It's a joke. You are living like a tick off this sick dog. It's dumb. Again, do I have to pull up the 9mm Glock with the modified trigger on it that allows it to be full auto? If you need that to defend yourself, then maybe you're a bank robber. And you certainly don't need to be shooting like that in a city with lots of other people around and the entire world downrange. Good Lord, the idiocy of this. So I had to play that first because I was just to get myself in a different mood, because this one, I couldn't play the beginning of it without laughing. Now, remember, this is an interview with Lin Wood. I'm not going to play all of this because nobody needs to hear this. And Cammie says, Hal, thoughts on MTG harassing a Parkland shooting victim survivor? Yeah, she talked to David Hogg, and she basically, the amazing part about that was her going, how did you get meetings? How did you get all this press? Like the whole country wasn't aware of what had happened at Parkland, and these kids survived. They were physical survivors of an armed attack on their school. That's how they got the meetings. They as children decided, enough, we need to talk to these people. Now, the question is, the question isn't how did they get meetings with all these senators? The question is, who are the senators that would turn down a meeting with a minor child that had survived one of the biggest school shootings in our history? That's the question. What a cretin. Gangrene. Yeah, that's the name of the squad. The right-wing squad is called the Gangrene. I love that idea, by the way. That's what it should be called. I'm for it. Yeah, so this is Lin Wood calling into a show. Now, what was funny about this, besides the fact that you're going to hear where the root lunacy of all this stuff is coming from, because Lin Wood and Mike Lindell and all the, the underlying, Marge Green, which is what I'm going to call her from now on, Marge Green and all that crowd are all, I guess, spiritual invalids joined at the hip.
Censored by Twitter, shadow banned on Facebook, and hated by fake news media. The patriotically
okay, seriously, you always have a cropping problem with green screen. It's always going to be a part of it. We just understand that. But you gotta feather it a little bit. But listen how tough this is.
Correct Radio Show with Stu and Rich. Mojo 5.
Music I don't listen to. Music I don't listen to.
Yeah. You can tell that this music defines this man as a host. Real Stu Peters. We'll call him Real Stu Tomatoes. Real Stu Peters. Stewed Peters, man, that's no way to eat them, man. Just one in a bun, done. You don't eat them stewed, that's gross. And you can tell when they're playing your theme song, like I have a hard time not dancing to my theme song, right? It's kind of fun because I crafted it, I care about it. But this, if you look at him, here, hold on, I'll play this.
Censored and not allowed to do stuff. This is the Stewed Penises Show, live on Patriot Radio. On the arms of an angel, sorrow looking all the door.
Like, seriously, come on. This is like golfers coming out to medal. This makes no. You're not allowed to see this show. I know. I feel this guy is so censored. Like, how do you get that many logos all over your stuff? When, like, I thought I was overdoing it. Damn. Do you know how much I, pull stuff, like the Venmo thing up there? I'm like, is it too much? I mean, it's one of the only ways I can, regularly support, get people to support the show and that stuff. So I kind of, I bite my lip and just go with it, I don't want to make it a big deal out of it. But I also, look at this. Look at the amount of barnacles on this show.
Real Voice Media.
And it's him with his shirt open with a 22 on it, which I think is his IQ or and then his buddy, there's his buddy over here who's like, yeah, I'm thinking about this. And he puts his own little pictures of himself. And the show is called Patriotically Correct. Really? Really? 22 is his inside leg. Yeah, it's his IQ, maybe. Okay. Well, all the number jokes aside, patriotically correct. Really? And this is where Lin Wood is now making appearances.
Obvious irregularities in surmounting evidence of meddling and theft of votes. Many of those close to President Donald Trump bailed on him, leaving him to fight.
How dare they? They bailed on him, but not us at Patriot Correct.
Mostly alone, but a handful of high...
He's leaving him mostly alone. Poor Donald Trump, golfing by himself at one of his 4 major golf courses. The PGA is gone. Melania's back in New York hanging out with friends.
High-profile individuals remain fervently fighting for accountability and audits, presented evidence, filed court...
That's right. Some really great high-profile people. High profile. Who would that be?
Cases spoke to the countless accounts of individual voter fraud and shed light...
Well, I mean, they're not countless. You can basically count them on both hands. I mean, there's this one, of course, former Republican candidate arrested for voting twice in 2020 election, Carteret, New Jersey. This guy's been charged with voting twice. Frederick Gattuso, who ran for mayor in 2018, voted twice by mail using the registration of 2 people with similar names. According to officials, he's been arrested, charged with third-degree fraudulent voting. Campaign between Gattuso, who's a Republican, go figure, and Daniel Ryman was heated. He heated because there were a lot of fake individuals involved. Gattuso accused Ryman of being a sexual predator, a thief, and a drunk driver. In that order. He had sex with a kid, that's not a pedophile thing. I'm surprised because he's a Democrat that he didn't do the whole pedophile thing. He's a sexual predator. So he grabbed someone by the vagina, stole a candy bar, and drove away drunk. Are you sure it wasn't a Trump kid? All right. Or Matt Getz. The contentious matchup resulted in Ryman filing a defamation suit against Gattuso and 3 others. So yeah, he's going. That guy's that. So countable cases, I suppose.
On the questionable software used in other countries, specifically to
Yeah, the questionable software. You mean the ES&S systems that were used in Texas and exclusively in Kentucky? And by the way, tell me what the ratio of Trump votes to Biden votes were in the counties that use Dominion machines. Do you want to hazard a guess? When Dominion machines were used, who they benefited most often? Who won in those districts most often? When you used a Dominion, does anybody want to venture a guess who came out 54% of the time, 68% of the time, 82% of the time? In different counties that were using the actual Dominion machines. Because, Pennsylvania used Dominion machines, but they didn't use them exclusively. They used different machines in different parts of the state. And in the parts of the state where they did use Dominion machines, Trump won.
jade elections in favor of the candidate the regime wished to install, while giving the
regime. Yeah.
illusion of a fair election.
That's what it was. It was the illusion of a fair election. Like this is the illusion of a design scheme. Seriously, look at this. Hold on. I have to shrink this down. This is friggin' embarrassing. Look at this mess. Look at this hot mess. Like I said, I know I have a lot of crap on my screen. Thank you, Angela. Appreciate that. Love the show, Hal. You are brilliant. You are brilliant, question mark. I like to think so. The super chat has a question mark on it. That's kind of nice. I mean, look at this crap. Seriously. This is the kind of thing I'm running for office, tacked to a telephone pole. God, this is awful.
General Michael Flynn is among those. Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani. They brought cases to the courts, screamed from the top of every tower they could climb, and
yeah, except the one where the tower where one presents evidence in court. They had every available option to do that. There's supposedly that hard drive, which they could absolutely release. The affidavits. Rudy told us dozens of times, go to my website. I will have this on my website. And I went to his website, and he did not have this on his website. You jackass, but please continue.
presented sworn testimony and affidavits proving some level of fraud, but the noise...
Nope. You presented sworn affidavits, no testimony, alleging a belief that fraud existed. Kind of an important detail, especially in a court of law. None of the affidavits alleged actual fraud. I saw this guy steal this gold bar and leave with it. What they're alleging is, I was in a bank. I saw a man rob the bank. Well, what did you actually see? I saw a man walk up to the window. He had an interchange. He looked like he had something bulky under his jacket. Now, it might have been that he was fat, but I don't usually see fat people in my bank, so I question the fact that there was a fat person in my bank. And so this fat person allegedly, which probably was like 9 guns and C4 actually under his jacket and not actual fat, gave a note. It could have been a deposit slip, but I've never seen a deposit slip like that. He gave it to the woman, and she gave him a bag of money, and he left. That was a robbery. I will testify to believing that was a robbery in court. That's what those affidavits say. It's the dumbest. I swear to God. All of these idiots think, oh, we'll get to Rudy and the Lincoln Project. Believe me, Diane, we're getting to that. That's why I'm not spending all my time on this nonsense. But all of the affidavits are about beliefs and things that they thought looked strange. None of them are, I saw this guy do that and that is illegal and I can prove it. None of them, not a one. And that is also, and it's curious that none of them are allowing Rudy Giuliani to enter their affidavits into a case. None of them are giving the okay to do it. You can sit on this affidavit, you can call it an affidavit, but you can't actually enter it into court anywhere or I'll deny it.
Has subsided, and the deafening sound of silence plagues America.
Listen to the sound of silence. The deafening sound of the silence of Rudy Giuliani. There it is. That's, yes.
While patriots like you and me sit frustrated, wondering what in the heck happened, and
To our screen.
We're, patriots like us are so upset. We got flags and stuff, and everything is red, white, and blue, and we're using a bold font with an outline that's blue against a white background. We have a Pepe frog here, which is totally not racist. And we're both doing this, and we're frustrated, man. No one wants to hang out with us.
and where did everybody go? What?
The ratings have fallen off. Hitting the Trump slump, are you? All your predictions that Trump
One man
made
with
it.
a platform has not stopped fighting and continues
Yeah.
to remain in the public eye.
The one man with the platform. Who is it?
Pushing information, evidence,
Yeah.
emails, and
Push it.
videos to the audience that remains on
Videos.
Telegram
That's
after being
right.
banned from really everywhere else, mirroring the high-tech censoring of President Donald Trump.
Mirroring the high-tech censoring of Donald Trump. He's been censored. You know, kind of like a Swedish kids show with a penis in it.
Lin Wood wrote a message
Might want to put just a bar.
on his
screen.
Telegram account for his audience just moments ago. Quote, "My alma mater, Mercer Law School, turned on me. I've suffered
Oh yeah? Did they turn on you? Or did you turn on them by being a whack job? What do you mean turned on you? Am I struggling with the Trump slump? No, I'm not. I'm referring to these folks. This is the Trump slump. This is what we're watching. These guys.
politically motivated attacks on my law license and my previously pristine record of professionalism. I've
You're pristine. Oh, we can't be talking about Lin Wood.
been threatened by others to take efforts to have me jailed and prosecuted for a rhetorical, hyperbolic post about Mike Pence. No
A rhetorical, hyperbolic post about the sitting vice president wherein he should be the first person to be shot. You mean that one? You mean where he said that Mike Pence was a traitor and what happens to traitors that they're shot and that he should be the first when the firing line is, and it's completely within the president's powers? That whole, you mean that hyperbolic?
client had abandoned me, but I expect Nicholas Sandman may do so, as he may be feeling pressure from members of Mitch McConnell.
Nicholas Sandman, by the way, is the kid who, one of the kids who was at the March for Life, and that's where Nathan Phillips, the Native American activist, got in his face, was beating a drum and talking to him, and the kid just stayed there, and all that kind of back and forth. And we talked about this before, but when Nathan Phillips showed up, these group of kids, and they are minor children, regardless of how they're raised or what you think about where they are, wearing MAGA hats, what have you, but they are minor children. We're having a verbal exchange wherein they never used any racial epithets or anti-gay epithets, for the record. And the other group, which was a group of black gentlemen, was using anti-gay and homophobic language and racist language. But Nathan Phillips assumed that because these kids were in MAGA hats, they were the ones who started it. And so when he went to bring peace to the two groups that were fighting against each other, in his judgment, it meant marching into the kids and pushing back on them. The group that they were arguing with was, of course, the Black Hebrew Israelites, a group related to the ones that shot Jews in Brooklyn in 2019. So let's just be clear that, I tweeted about this recently, life is murky. But that kid, who has got a defamation lawsuit about how he was portrayed in that, and is winning, he's getting settlements out of it, dropped Lin Wood as a lawyer for all of his violent, crazy rhetoric. So kids sticking to his Catholic pro-life beliefs in the least bit that he is standing by them and not having Lin Wood represent him because Lin Wood is calling for the abject murder of the vice president. Not the best look in court.
McConnell's team on which Nicholas worked this election cycle. I've had serious threats of harm and death made against me and my family. My family has abandoned me, but I'm not.
This is a post from Lin Wood, I'm
alone.
guessing.
I have we the people who have showered me with messages which inspire me and they comfort me. In the end, my efforts have always been for we the people. Until and unless.
Look, you have so much shit on your screen. You can't put this up on screen so that people don't think you're saying this. It's really weird. This is really weird,
They
dude.
silence me by imprisonment or death. I will not stop fighting for we the people, for honest elections, for freedom, and for the hundreds of thousands of little
And to have Mike Pence murdered, apparently. What are you talking about?
children who are being abused, molested, and sacrificed for
Oh, Jess, happy birthday. Oh, Matt, it's Maths. Okay, Math J.A., happy birthday.
the demonic pleasures of very
Happy
evil
birthday.
people in the world, including leaders in our government.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, why would you call for their deaths if they weren't? Oh, my God.
Lin Wood joins us now.
I don't, Brenda, the kid was, she says the kid was a jerk, you can tell. I don't care. He's a child. You understand how this works? I don't care. Kids can be salvaged. I don't write children off for their behavior, especially when they're clearly raised with a narrow viewpoint. I give them room to breathe. And if a minor child is involved in an altercation, verbally or otherwise, with an adult, the adult is always at fault, always, every time. End of story. I will not ever give ground in that argument. I don't care if those kids were dicks. They're kids. I don't care. That's and that's not a standard you have to maintain. That is a standard I maintain. Period. End of story. It's why I don't think kids should be tried as adults for murder. It's why I don't think they should be tried as adults until they're 18 years old. They are juveniles and they should be treated accordingly. And if they commit an egregious harm, sexual assault or murder, then with their prison term that goes with it should be an outsized amount of rehab because they are a child. Their brain is not even fully formed until they're 22 goddamn years old. End of story, period. I will not bend on this. And it's never going to happen. It drives me nuts. And right-wingers are always wanting to try children as adults when they commit a crime. I disagree. I've always disagreed with that as well. So why would it change when it's their attitudes or their beliefs or their behavior? They have to be given room to grow out of it. They are children, period. And most of the people who have the most issue with those kids in particular are simply lucky that they weren't raised in Jesus camp. That it was a side shot of sperm that they ended up growing up in a Montessori neighborhood with a couple of Whole Foods, where they grew up surrounded by liberals or with that kind of diversity available to them. If they hadn't, they'd been, they'd have grown up in, South Carolina, and they would have the belief system that those kids had. I'm not sorry. If they're a minor, that's it. And again, you don't have to agree with me, but I'm not ever going to shift on that.
Now, and for the first time ever, he'll be answering questions that have come directly from you. The questions that I will ask Lin were pulled from my Twitter and Telegram followers.
By the way, this guy has often complained about how he's been censored, but he's going to pull questions from his Twitter and Telegram followers for Lin Wood.
And Lin has not been briefed on any of these questions.
No, so he has not been given them ahead of time by Donna Brazil and the DNC.
The answers you'll hear from Lin in just a minute are straight from the heart of a man of God.
Yeah, don't think, they may sound so good that you're like, he had to have been asked this before. Honestly.
God, who has encouraged prayer, patience, and in some cases,
And prayer, patience, and the pulverizing of Mike Pence.
action in the form of
The perforation of Mike Pence's cranium with,
requested resignations by Vice President Mike Pence and Chief Justice Roberts, as Mr. Wood
Oh, he requested resignations.
has suggested that these men, among others, are not righteous and should be held to account in a public forum for alleged behavior that at best
Oh, yeah, just hold them. That's what he meant when he said they should be lined up in front of a firing squad. It was just kind of I don't know. I was just kind of spitballing. Like, what's a good analogy for being, put through a legal proceeding and decided that you are unequal to the task at hand? Well, I was like, okay, firing squad. Jesus.
is less than honorable, but at worst, criminal in the highest sense of the word. Let's get straight after it. Lin Wood, as always.
Criminal in the highest sense of the word, meaning capital crime. Highest sense of the word criminal, we would guess, is they mean capital crime, murder, kill them. That's what he's talking about. Good Lord.
Thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and welcome back to PC Radio.
PC Radio. Get it? Ick.
Well, thank you, Stu. I always enjoy speaking with you, and I commend you for your efforts.
Lin Wood is on the phone. He is calling in from a undisclosed location, but here's his, in case you don't know who he is, in case you guys are wondering, former President Trump lawyer, friend of Sidney Powell's, Kraken, he's the sidecar to the Kraken, Lin Wood, defamation lawyer, not anymore. Trump supporter, always and forever, buddy. Unapologetic, God-fearing patriot. Excuse me, sir, if I may, citation needed. I get the unapologetic part. The God-fearing, I think this asshole thinks he's God. At one point, he believed he was the voice of God. That doesn't sound God-fearing to me. A God-fearing person, I don't know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, wouldn't presume to speak for God. They would be literally the last person that would presume to speak for God. Am I not wrong? Good Lord. And then, of course, patriot. I don't know. Maybe we're talking about Russia. Maybe that he's just using that word. Expatriate, should we see? What did Lin Wood dip his face in? Buttercream. Every day I pour a little bit of whipped butter and scotch in a bowl, and then I just motorboat that son of a bitch, and I pull up, and that gives me the complexion you see today. It's wonderful. And then I go out and I lay in the sun amongst the pine trees. Some of them stick to my face. It's something I got to deal with. We get through there.
To speak truth and convey truth to your listeners.
Well, go ahead and why start now?
We need people out there telling us the truth. It's hard to find.
Well, here I am. Hi, everybody. I'm Hal Sparks. Welcome to a live stream. And I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is, this guy is not a God-fearing patriot. He's lying out of his ass. The other dude who's calling himself patriotically correct is a phony patriot, shilling patriotism to hawk God knows what they do ads for on this stupid show, and using the illusion of supporting the troops and cops and the like to sell a brand of identity that he doesn't actually belong to. You know what I mean? It's like a megachurch pastor who, screws his racehorses.
These days.
Lin, first of all, I need to tell you that the overwhelming majority of the people that were given the opportunity to ask a question just gave us.
Lin, let me tell you, the overwhelming members of my Twitter and Telegram feed, Telegram? That's what it is, right? Feed, that I allowed to ask you a question were handpicked and cherry-picked. All of them are positive. Really? Really? You're going to tell me, stewed penis, that you didn't reach down into the depths of the Twitter trolls that follow you that are I guess hate watching libs? I've never seen this show before, so I can't even imagine. But you didn't hunt through theirs for a tough question? Just a bunch of tongue waggers?
Statement instead. They say that they support you overwhelmingly. They thank you.
Gee, overwhelmingly, the cherry-picked tweets that I got for you support you. What is that?
They believe in you, and they're thankful for your courage. And I want to make certain that you're aware of.
And that's how I did it. I did a search in my feed for support Lin Wood, love his courage. I only looked them up that way. And how do I find these shows? Robin, it's not pretty. It's an ugly process. It's a couple hours a day of hell. The good thing is I don't watch them ahead of time because I'm not going to torture myself with this shit twice.
I need you to know that you're in the prayers of millions.
How many follows? This guy has 500,000 views on this video alone, 50,000 subscribers on Rumble, and 6,786 Rumbles, which I believe people pay for. No pressure, super chatters. I'm just saying, patreon.com/Hal Sparks. Like, what do you even liberal, bro?
Of people every single day, and I know that you feel it.
Yeah, they feel it. I feel it. Aren't you feeling it? We're all feeling it. Tell them what you feel, Lin?
Well, thank you, Stu. I do feel it, and that's one of my tasks that's still ahead of me. I've received an incredibly large number of emails, and many folks have kind of poured their heart out.
By the way, don't think for a second I didn't notice the Leftist Tears mug you can purchase by going to the store at this guy's thing right there. It's not just a one-sided mug. It's got the logo of the show on the. Thank you, William O'Connor, for at least stepping up to the plate with a super chat and letting us know that you care about me doing this. Yeah, I know. We've got 5 more patrons, and we'll have 666. I like that in and of itself has got to spark some sort of, no pun intended, Republican backlash. Thank you, William O'Connor, of the O'Connors.
Out to me, and I want to try to go back through in time and respond to each and every one of them, but I just got to, make that time, and I hope to do so.
Yeah. I mean, your time is eaten up with court cases where you're actually in. Oh, right.
Over the next few weeks. So I know the support is there.
Thank you, Francie. Thanks, written on top of a purple heart. That's lovely.
I know that people around this country know that President Trump won. I know.
Yes, there is a spattering of psychopaths around the country who think Trump won. Yes. Thank you, Patty. Yes. The word no, I have an issue with. Know that he... Oh, Amy, thank you so much. Bless you. Very sweet. Thank you so much, Amy, right?
I know that the people around this country want and expect and must have an honest election. I think...
Yeah, we had one. It was fun. Yeah, it was a little crazy this time, but we had one.
A lot of people in this country are also relying heavily on their faith in God right now, which is...
Yeah. Right, and as opposed to Billy, thank you so much. Feeling the old-time Sparks pressure. Thanks, Billy. I've been dialing it back, my brother. I hope you're well. Big love to you, by the way. Huge hug. Hope to do it in person one day soon. But thank you for succumbing to the pressure. I'm just saying, do you have any idea how much money these jerk-offs are making? It's embarrassing. Just trying to make a living and show them up. That's all.
The best action they can take. I also believe that many people are rediscovering, and some for the first time finding their faith in God Almighty, and maybe that's why we're going through this persecution.
Let's get that 666 in motion again. Agreed. We got to get should we do the super chats of $6.66 to try and raise money to buy 666 Fifth Avenue? I'm going to have a big telethon soon. Thank you, Eileen, and thank you, Francie. Feeling the pressure. I try not to do it. You guys know I dial it back like crazy, and I don't push nearly as hard as I should. Everybody else is like, I just get it. I have to say, I just watch it's a lot of pressure on you guys, but I watch those like right side videos when I'm doing this, and I'm like, son of a bitch, they're throwing money at these idiots, and it's poison.
So that our country and many individuals will draw closer in their relationship with God. So I thank you for telling me that, and to the people.
If you draw closer to your relationship with God, I have no hesitation whatsoever. Thank you, Jamie. Every little bit does help. It's true. Yeah, you don't have to overwhelm it. Just even, use it as you will if you on super chats and whatnot. And again, if you can't, don't worry about it. But if you can, I would argue, and I think a lot of you would agree. Thank you, Stephen. I think a lot of you would agree that the closer one would draw to God in theory, it would naturally move one further away from what often is called the things of man, but I would refer to as people like Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, for example. You would find some distance. Thank you, Heather. For the Sparks Tower Fund, thank you. And thanks, Mark.
For that are listening, I thank each and every one of them for their support and their prayers.
Many have asked this question, so I'm going to start with it.
Yeah. It's your second question, but okay.
Pretty simple. Is the military in control of our country, or is Joe Biden a legitimate president signing executive orders and fully in charge as commander-in-chief?
I know this one. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Canada contingent. And thanks to folks who are, I believe somebody, thank you, Deborah, for the Venmo. That was very sweet of you. I appreciate that. Good Lord. Rots of tacos. It's true. Joe Biden is president and his executive orders count. I'm just saying. It seems like an easy one. This might be a layup. But let's see.
I believe.
Thank you, Maria and Carl. What do you think he believes? Do you think Lin Wood believes that Joe Biden is president, or what do you think?
Without having definitive proof.
Well, that never stopped you before. Thank you, Jillian.
That the military is in charge of our country.
No, it is not. No, it isn't. The military is not in control of our government. Not at all.
And I believe they are in charge of our country because Joe Biden is an illegal president. And
Well, why would that be? See, if honest to God, if Joe Biden was an illegal president, and let's just say Kamala Harris is then next because she's part of his ticket, let's say they're illegal, then Nancy Pelosi is president.
I believe the military
Thank you, Mark.
has evidence that establishes that fact.
Thank you, Valiant.
So that while he may be signing blank pages or he may be signing executive orders prepared later for him by...
Yolanda, thank you so much. Oh, my God. And Patty, you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
The people that control him, he's a puppet. I don't believe that those executive orders are going to see any action because...
Yeah, they are actually. They're being carried out currently.
I don't have, as I said, confirmation, but I know the law. And
what? And we have a new patron. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you so much. That means we're 4 away from 666 now. Oh boy. Will Lin Wood be struck by lightning as soon as we get 666? Buying 100 shares of HAL. Oh, that's right. I am the new GameStop, right? For 45-degree equity stake, Alex, on Robinhood. Yeah.
I know that.
Yes, I'm Zachamania. You'd get more than that. I think I'm trading like Dogecoin. I'm like 0.004 cents or something.
In the early 1950s, when Joe McCarthy began hearings on communism, and while he was a flawed man, he was right about communism. I know that Roy Cohn was his counsel. Roy Cohn was a flawed man.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe Roy Cohn. Sure.
But he was right about communism. J. Edgar.
Yeah, nobody's going for communism. What does that have to do with anything? That's like saying George Washington was a flawed man, but he was right about monarchy.
Hoover was a flawed man, but he was right about communism. And
yes, you are the wind beneath the winks. That's true, Billy.
Roy Cohn worked for Donald Trump as a lawyer until his death, I believe, in the mid-'80s. I believe Donald Trump knows communism. The military knows communism. We knew in the 50s that communism insidiously and without us realizing it.
Insidiously. Not to be confused with marsupially.
Could take us over. As Khrushchev said, we'll take you over without firing a shot. I think they have. And then now they tried to formally get one of their puppets elected. But I believe
he's... All right. Well,
the military was aware of what they were going to try to do because they'd done it in prior elections. So I believe
which election would that be? Oh, the black dude. Sorry. Oh, thank you, Connor, for joining Patreon. Thank you.
The military has the evidence. I know that Sidney Powell and I and many others have worked hard to find the evidence ourselves to get it to the public. Almost
with no success.
To prepare the battlefield. So
to prepare the battlefield. Okay.
If I'm right, And the military
You're not.
has evidence that shows that this was an illegal election and that Joe Biden.
You're wrong. You're dumb. This is ridiculous. It's embarrassing. Like, how much more time do you need? What the hell? You have the Kraken. You have all these affidavits, allegedly. You have all this stuff. And yet the election's passed. Biden's been sworn in. The normal functions of government have moved on. We are doing the normal work. This isn't even this is not. Bernie was not elected, okay? I would expect this kind of flip out if Bernie had been the nominee and he got elected. Like, if that would make total frigging sense. But this is embarrassing. And again, this is like, can you imagine if the second coming of Jesus Christ was based on the idea that Christ was only here for 4 years a couple weeks ago and he left, but he's going to be back any day now. Just any day. And then 2,000 years later, you're like, seriously, dude, do we have to wait here? Because I'm getting a little peckish. Thank you, Jana. Or is it Yana? Like Yana Hammer? I'm curious now.
Is an illegal, fake president. Then the military has, under the authority of law, the duty and responsibility in pursuit of the oath that they took to defend the Constitution and the people. The military has the obligation to take control of our government.
No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. The military has no role in taking over our government. As a matter of fact, it is a violation. As long as we have a functioning Congress and Senate, which I don't hear him alleging we don't, because apparently the Republicans got elected to Senate and Congress all just got in fine. None of that, it would have to be a total collapse beyond, literally just a state of emergency, everybody dead, we have a designated survivor standard. Literally, like the agriculture secretary became, is it HUD? Who is the dude that, in designated survivor? He was HUD, right? Good Lord. Oh, thanks, Franken-Smith-Berry. I'm glad you like the how-to. I'll do more of those. I'm going to add those to the thing. And thank you, patrons, for assembling. Yeah, Jack Bauer. No, that was in 24.
Because it is being seized by an illegal administration.
No, it isn't. Even still, it would be the job of the Senate and the House to determine these things and deal with it. And they would need a majority. And there would have to be a fundamental consensus that it was that way. And it ain't, because it's not.
So, I hope that answers the question. I wish I could tell you that I knew that for a fact, that I generally call.
But that wouldn't apply to anything. This is just dull. We're not going to stick to this because I have other stuff to show you. But holy God. Now, let's go to what everybody was talking about and what we got to jump into before I eat up all the time today. Because I got radio tomorrow, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. The WCPT show, the House Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. Jill Carter, thank you. Patreon assemble. Yes, Patreons assemble. This is, by the way, this is one of the women from the Arizona GOP. Arizona GOP is also behind the Arizona Fox network that plays the most egregious kind of Fox News clips. For the longest time, I was like, man, the local Fox affiliate in Arizona is bonkers. And then I went, oh, it's not really a Fox affiliate. They set up their own YouTube account that just plays the Fox stuff that they like. So they were like, again, cherry picking the clips they like off Fox and putting them up from the Arizona GOP.
End of story. We don't.
By the way, look, I use a green screen that has a giant fake concrete wall. Okay. I do it because I like the look. But when you put up the illusion of an apartment around you and you're not screwing around, this is just weird. And again, you got to choke the green screen. Otherwise, we know that you're just hiding your mess.
I don't want someone coming in
Allied,
and saying...
Well, first off, hang on. Allied inventory is part of the... That's Waldron's group and associated with Waldron.
Then go ahead and talk to everyone else on Allied.
Okay, Liz, my point is that they're a part. I understand you might want to get in there. That could be fine, but they're a partisan group. They're part of this, right? So who's the other one? Tesla Labs? Is that Elon Musk deal?
No, the people of Arizona want the truth, Steve. And right now it's in the hands
They totally do. Stephanie, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
of the state Senate to bring in the right experts.
Yeah, we need the right experts, not the ones that will actually look for the truth. We need the ones that will tell us what we want to hear. We're going to keep looking for experts until we find some experts that are experts in kissing our ass.
That's basically the bottom line.
And the right experts would be
Yes, her background is higher depth than she is, which is a big Zoom no-no.
defined in your thinking and the people of this populist revolt out there, the Trump deplorables. That would be what? I want to hear those two
David,
companies
thank you for joining us on Patreon.
again.
I
Who
think
are
we
they?
got 3 more.
Allied Security Operations Group and Tesla Laboratories.
She's done. That's it. The eggs are finished, and therefore she's done. Did you set an alarm for when she has to get kicked out of the interview?
And tell us about Tesla Laboratories.
Tesla Laboratories is Jovan. Jovan performs, but you're laughing. But this is the thing.
I'm laughing.
People
I'm laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm saying that you're arguing.
Thank you, Francie. Jovan is somebody that she works with, so they create these fake groups, like Rand Paul's optometry organization that gave him an award and a medical accreditation. They make these things up. I belong to a think tank of one.
You're arguing.
Jovan has. All right, so can Jovan go and register as a Democrat? Would that work? Would that work for us?
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. The point of the matter was to get a independent third party. We know Jovan has been part of the tremendous information you guys have put out there. Allied has been part of the information
Totally
you've been put
good.
out there. That's all that. But they can already see, people are going to be able to say, well, hold it. They're part of the advocacy group. They've come forward and made the argument for it. How are they going to be able to sit there and do an...
Yeah, notice that's what you're talking about. What the Tesla Industries group that they're going to have come down there and audit the friggin' machines is her friend. Honest to God, this is so dumb. And that's what Steve Bannon is actually pushing back against. She's like, who's this group you're going to have come in and audit the machines? Oh, that's Jovan, one of our guys. He's like, well, then people are just going to go, you're bringing in your friends to audit these things. He's not qualified to audit them, and he's advocating. He already has a thumb on the scale. You have to have an independent group come in. Like, no, we need the right kind. We need the right kind. Oh, Tawanda, thank you so much for becoming a patron. What are we, 2 away from 666? That is crazy.
independent, nonpartisan argument. You got to get a company.
Jovan for men. That's what I use. Try Jovan for men. I seriously need a hand fan every so often just so I can straight up do a metal video for you guys.
That's got a is totally not part.
Hi karate, Hal karate, it'll work.
Part of this thing. Go ahead.
But hold on, Liz, let me play devil's advocate here in the room as well. The left always uses their partisan advocacy groups to do this stuff, and
do we? Oh, I didn't realize we used our own partisan advocacy groups. Yes, things like, I don't know, the National Institute for Health and the CDC, all left-wing advocacy groups. Cedars-Sinai and AstraZeneca. Oh, and of course, Razor Bowers. Thank you for becoming a patron at the $5 level. Bless you. Thank you so much. And of course, bringing us closer to an evil number. Yes, tell us what does the left do? What advocacy groups are we talking about?
And whether it's the official apparatus or they bring in their buddies who Janet Yellen's probably taken a speaking fee from to do all of this stuff. So what's the difference here?
The difference here is
Janet Yellen's buddies. What? I don't understand. Look, what kind of advocacy groups are you talking about, man? It's ridiculous. Oh no, we've got 645 people viewing on YouTube alone. We're very popular. It's a very popular show because no one else does the long form like I do. They just don't do it, dear. Yeah. They have, most people bring these other folks in, they have someone else running their graphics. They have someone else running the entire goddamn show. And here I am, one man, alone in an office, in his own home, just trying to make the best of it, yeah? And look at this. I'm just saying, look how well-funded these jagoffs are. Oh, my God.
We want to get to the truth quickly. And hold it. We want to get to and here's why. Because an independent group will come to the same conclusion, right? But
No, They won't. That's the problem she has, Steve. Don't you understand? There's no independent group that's going to come in and look at this shit and go, yeah, she's right. Totally. There's an algorithm that trips automatically when Joe Biden starts to lose. And it didn't work because programming goes, nothing's worse than a piece of software that panics. And so they had to start printing ballots in Philadelphia in a little room. Fucking hell.
You won't have the smear of being a
It's pronounced schmear, and it's delicious.
partisan group that's part of this. Anyway, Liz, how do people get
No. Oh, thank you, Cheryl.
to you? We'll continue this discussion later. You're not going to
Okay,
convert me on this, Liz, but that's okay. But you good attempt.
That's okay.
But just
By the way, I love that they're fighting. Again, this is beautiful. This is like watching Matt Getz go after Liz Cheney. Mwah, mwah. Oh, thank you, Tony. Oh, we're getting close. Somebody tell me when we get to 666, because I think we're one away now.
how do people get?
Your audience understands what I'm saying. We need people.
No, they don't. No, they don't, ma'am. Or they wouldn't be Steve Bannon's audience. They'd be your audience. See how that works? Like, he's got this problem. He has to pretend that you make sense. And he lives in that hell, and it's a hell of his own making. But he'll be in jail eventually, so it doesn't matter.
That know what they're looking for. We don't want a third-party independent company that has no experience in
what? Giving you what you want? A third-party independent company that has no experience? You want exactly that.
in looking for elections.
Oh, I'm at 668 now? We blew right past 666? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Hooray. Congratulations, everyone. I'll go down to 666 Fifth Avenue and with a check for $666, and I will put a down payment on the building. The next time I can go to New York, I'll videotape myself going into 666 Fifth Avenue and trying to buy it. You don't understand. I have gotten over 666 followers on Patreon who are supporting me. I have a check for $666. I want to know where it goes, because this is a check for actual money, unlike the ridiculous debt that Jared Kushner and his crowd have. So there. Because of my long hair. That's right. I have long hair and a check for $666. That means, oh, thank you so much. Chic friend. That's awesome. Wow, holy smokes. Did you do the yearly? Thank you. You can now join Patreon and just do it as a yearly thing instead of a monthly thing, which is lovely. Jeanette, thank you. That's what we're going to do. We have to do that. Trump Towers for sale for $666. Yes, and I'll bring hand sanitizer. Thank you, LaWanda. Bless you. Kyle, thanks for all you do for us. All I do is help us both get through this. Look how mad this woman is, though. Can you just take joy for a moment in watching how irritated this chick is?
The way they can get to me, and I'll let you go.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Basically, we have canvassers. The website to sign up is itsmellsfunny.com. Thank you so much, Steve. Have a great
itsmellsfunny.com. Well, way to stay on brand. Are you sure Steve doesn't own that? Did Steve just gift you that? Is that his old... That's funny, because that is literally the URL that Steve buys his aftershave from.
day.
Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it. That dog's just not going to hunt. You're not going to get Jovan and AOC. You may be able to pay him and try to get to the thing, but you're not going to get. If you're going to have an audit, it's just not going to pass muster out there. Rudy, you probably disagree with me also, correct? About who actually has got to come in and do these audits if they're going to withstand scrutiny?
100%.
This is Rudy Giuliani, by the way, kids.
I disagree with you, Steve, because you don't understand. There is no independent. This is a dirty industry.
Okay.
This would be like asking the mafia.
There's the defense. Oh my God. That's the defense, Rudy. There is no such thing as an independent variable. Oh my God. 1,000 patrons by Valentine's. From your lips to God's ear, Jennifer. Oh my God. But he looks like he's been dunking his head in iodine. It's true. Or in betadine, right? Serious. Why is he green? I don't know. It's kind of yeah. I think it's just the filter they're using to try and tone him down. Yeah, he wiped his mouth again. He totally has the raw upper lip thing. You guys have totally spotted it. Oh my God. Look at where we are right now, okay? Think about this for a second. Look at where Rudy Giuliani is and what he just said. He just said it's the voting and computer auditing industry is a dirty industry. That there is no way, yeah, it's just jaundice, right? It's the cigars, I think. It's really gross. Imagine that being your fallback. You got caught cheating on a test. You can have it's an essay question. I'm trying to make this work. Thank you. 670 in the house and 292 thumbs up. Come on, man. Give us a thumbs up. If you're watching on the YouTube, that would be great. And if you're on Twitch, you can cheer or you can like and subscribe, follow, pass it around. Yes, share the show. I'm going to get good at this one day, or I'll just have a little button that goes follow. But imagine that being you got caught cheating on an essay test, and you're saying, no, I wrote this myself. And they're saying, no, somebody else wrote this. And we know who did it. We know that it's a copy of somebody else's essay. It's almost word for word. And you go, well, you can't, I want to look at it and prove which parts are mine, because I'm going to say he cheated off me, actually. And the teacher is going to go, no, I can look at it. It's my classroom. And you're going, no, you're biased. You're the one who gave me the F. So somebody else has to come in. The dean of students or something wants to come in. The dean of students comes in and goes, yes, this essay was written 6 days ago. You just wrote this essay today. We're going to go with you cheated off the one that was written 6 days ago, not the other way around. And you're going to go, there is no one fair in this situation. That everyone here is in on it. This is Rudy Giuliani's fallback. Think about this for a second. Think about how and how dumb the last speaker was, that Rudy has to top that. That what he is saying is actually dumber than just suggesting that my guy should look at it. That's just used car salesman stuff. If you don't believe me, have my mechanic check it out. I think this car's a piece of shit. No. It's a great deal. My mechanic will tell you. He'll give you a whole printout. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's believable. Rudy's literally standing there going, I'm not even sure this is a car, but you should still buy it. But his mechanic is the only person you can trust, and there are no mechanics worth trusting at all. Good God.
Audit the mafia. These companies, almost all of them have the same Smartmatic software.
No, they don't.
Almost all of them have an ability for, they say they don't, the internet to get into them and to change votes.
They don't. Physically. They don't. They say they don't because they don't.
And the certification groups they've been using are lackeys for them. So
let me ask you, all this I just want to.
The certification groups, those lackey groups, are the state boards of election of red states.
And let me just say,
Rudy's losing weight because he's 1.3 billion in losses makes him shit himself every morning. Right?
Maybe take a different.
How do I let Camden watch these idiots? Absolutely not.
Different approach.
Yes. Dominion Voting Machines is suing Rudy Giuliani for $1.3 billion. They're going to win, and they're going to bleed him dry. Yeah. LP is now suing Rudy? Who's LP? Long Playing Records? What do you mean LP? Sorry if I don't know that right away.
Would you be comfortable, and would Liz be comfortable, if you get the full forensic audit out there of all the stuff, and now there's lawsuits flying around and defamation suits and all this kind of different stuff. I know you guys are going to be countersuing. It's all this. You're going to get discovered.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck with look how stiff his face got when he brought up the lawsuit.
Is this forensic audit in Maricopa County? If you got the forensic audit as laid out by you and Liz with all the protocols you want, would you guys be happy if all those protocols were met, right? And you had a company that was not part of the advocacy part going in there, whether it's Jovan or the Allied Group or any other associated with any of the lawsuits or anything, would you guys be happy if you laid out the protocol and all the protocol was met? Would Maricopa County in the forensic audit that they want out there, would that be acceptable to you guys? Would that be acceptable
I have
to you?
an easier one. It's like we do in homicide cases.
I have an easier one. It's like we do. Oh God.
You have 2 autopsies. The family gets some.
You have 2 autopsies in homicide cases.
Someone to do the autopsy. I want our people to examine it first.
In a homicide case, the family doesn't have another autopsy. That's in a civil case, like a wrongful death case. Wrongful death cases, that's when that happens. Thank you, Becky. And I enjoy the spelling of your name with the extra E. Becky.
So that they can't change it, because they've done that in the past. And then they can have all the examinations they want.
Yeah, Rudy Giuliani, CSI, where he just comes in and sharts all over the evidence. We're finding traces of fecal material all over this. Don't test that.
So you can have 2. You could have us, and you could have, but there's nobody independent to do this. I mean, I tried. The reality is not. First of all, not many people do it. It isn't as if it's a huge industry.
Holy smokes! What are you talking about? Almost any software company that does security can do audits on stuff. Almost any major accounting firm can do this. I mean, Jesus Christ, an accounting firm does the Oscars every year. That's good God. C.S. Lai, that's great, Schmoopy. That might have to be a sexy liberal sketch, I think.
Secondly, they funded the.
He is not wearing lipstick, unless you're talking about me. I'm not wearing lipstick either. I just have full, beautiful lips. But I don't think Rudy is wearing lipstick. I don't even know that he has lips currently.
Certification groups.
Yes, Rudy did get kicked off YouTube. This is on Rumble, and he has his regular show on Rumble, and this is the War Room, which is Steve Bannon's show on Rumble.
Just think about this.
I'm thinking
28 states have machines in which you can change the vote, and 28 states have machines in which numerous votes go to adjudication, and you don't know that your vote didn't get tabulated. Like 80%.
Votes don't go to adjudication. Signatures go to adjudication because the machines verify the signatures, and if they can't be if it's outside their 30 to 70% effect rate where they it can't tell, they have people look at it. God, again, I'm so aggravated that I know more about this than I have to.
They certified that. The companies you're going to bring in certified that, which means they lied. So, I mean.
No, it means you lied, Rudy. It means you are a liar.
And I don't know of any company in that business that isn't part of that scheme.
What do you mean? But isn't that, hang on, but isn't that within the ban? I think.
So why do we trust ES&S machines? Texas refuted Dominion machines. So where's the, oh, thanks, hype train. Seriously, you think this only applies to Dominion? So there are companies that audited and verified what ES&S machines do, like the ones that were used in Kentucky. But and the companies that audited those can't be trusted to look at the Dominion machines? What a friggin' reach.
Isn't that within the bandwidth of the definition of certification in Michigan? So they didn't actually lie. They comported with the terms of service in Michigan. They did not. So what's the definition of certification?
No,
in Michigan?
they gave when they certified it, and Dominion promised that you could not access the machine by the internet.
You can't.
The answer is,
okay.
You can, and not only.
No, you can't.
Only that.
Okay.
All you have to do is read their manual.
What do you need? What?
The manual does not tell you that you can access them by the internet. I literally brought the manual up on my goddamn show, Rudy. Did you? Common sense would say, one would think, that if you were going to bring up the manual, then you would indeed present said manual and show us the portion of it that you're talking about. But since you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about and you're smoking a pipe out your ass with this nonsense, I don't even know what that means, but it's true. No, all right. And this is the thing, seriously. Oh, thanks, Martha. But seriously, even look at Steve Bannon. Look at how he's leaning on this microphone, and he's just kind of like, you can tell he's getting tired of just sitting in the chair because he's like, this is such bullshit. God.
What do you need to prove? Okay, because I'm just saying, Dominion's adamant in the fact that these things had no access to the internet. What is it that would?
That's a complete lie.
Is it that would? That's New York.
No, it isn't. And you can say it's a complete lie, but you're going to have to say this in court again, dummy.
New York City. That's a New York City police. Yeah, that's the Blasio's New York. That's the siren in the background.
It's a complete lie. I mean,
yeah, de Blasio's. Yeah, you know it's de Blasio's New York because the cops, NYPD, they're totally all in de Blasio's pocket. What are you talking about?
I have pictures of Dominion machines being connected to the internet.
No, you don't. You have no pictures of Dominion machines connected to the internet.
Pictures of it.
Okay.
Show them. Show them, Rudy. Where are they? I've watched your show dozens of times. Why in the hell have I never seen it? If you have pictures of Dominion, oh my God, pictures of Dominion. Okay. What do you think the over-under is on this asshole showing us a power cable? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? $100 on it? Bet $666 that this asshole is going to show you a power cable, or he's going to show you the tabulation machines that upload what the voting machines show because they have to wet walk the tabulations over to the machine and upload them so the government knows what the early count is so they can announce it before they're certified later.
I've been inside. I mean, my people have been inside, 22 of them. They were all accessed by the internet.
No, they haven't. A fly just landed on your head. You haven't been inside them. Your people have not been inside them. I worry about anything you've been inside of.
Okay.
And not only that,
and my problem is the only reason Rudy Giuliani would want to be inside the Dominion voting machines is that they are all less than 18 years old.
I take it. This is all going to get adjudicated in whatever these lawsuits are.
So let's have two separate examinations.
And
so let's have two separate examinations. But I want to pick both groups, and nobody can be trusted. Watch, he's going to get his two separate adjudications of this. They're going to come back with you're full of shit, and his own people are going to come back going, see, totally.
And you are saying, hey, I get full discovery. You're going to have full discovery, so you'll be happy.
Thank you, Jamie.
Right?
Yes. If I were
the only reason I'm not a machine guy is very simple. It takes the argument off of the low hanging fruit. Remember, in Wisconsin, it's only 20,000 votes. I understand you got to fix it. That's.
By the way, just enjoy for a moment every so often. Just enjoy these idiots arguing with each other. I mean, that in and of it's yes. Please hit the like and give us a thumbs up and subscribe and share the show. Let your friends know we're here. We're the little show that could. Thank you very much. Especially if you live in a foreign country. If you live in England or the UK or Australia or any of those countries, spread it around because after this craziness is all over, I'd like to come there and perform live doing my regular stand-up, and it'd be nice if they knew who the hell I was, besides the characters I play on TV, which can be a little off-putting when those characters aren't the kind of funny I am. It's difficult. It's difficult for them to wrap their heads around.
Okay, you got to fix it. But I'm trying to fix November 3rd, and I'm trying to fix it in the House.
Yeah, you can't fix November 3rd because you don't have a fucking time machine, you dolt. Look at this. Look at this guy. You know what he's trying to fix? A case where he's about to lose a $1.3 billion. Hello, Australia. How are you? Good on you, fair income.
House of the U.S. and the floor of the U.S. Senate. This is why your evidence, first off, and this
sucks. Your evidence sucks and doesn't actually live up to the word evidence.
This is why the president understands.
I call this evidence.
And why the president's people right now are going to argue.
Uh-oh, the glasses are off. Rudy's going to let him have it. Come on, Steve.
This esoteric case about due process in the rule of law and everything about how the House comported itself.
Yeah.
But he's going to be inundated with, they're going to go back over all the language he's ever used. They're going to go back to everything you and others did from November 4th on to say stirred up people. And they're going to connect these dots of all this video on November 3rd. Said he riled up people. He's guilty of a violent insurrection against the United States. And my point is that the argument there can't be esoteric because they're going to make an emotional argument. You've got the goods on the low-hanging fruit. We don't even need to talk about the machines.
No, let him talk about the machines, Steve. Stop trying to save Rudy from himself. Low-hanging fruit.
You've got this guy Sullivan. You've got all the issues about Antifa and other organizers that were there for.
Yeah, no, you don't. Sullivan was calling them revolutionaries, and he was taking pictures of her. Of the Nancy Pelosi's desktop. No, sorry.
The president took stage.
The girl who stole the laptop and tried to sell it to Russia was with him.
Then you've got all the low-hanging fruit in Wisconsin, in Georgia, in Arizona that we don't even need to get into the esoteric.
And by the way, just so you're clear, the low-hanging fruit that Steve Bannon is talking about is the skank tail he likes when he gets around the country, the kind of right-wingers who put out the kind of like, I like a saucy man. You're the next best thing to Donald Trump. The kind of like, he's like Trump's roadie, and they're the Trump groupies all like, if I blow Steve Bannon, I can get close to the real dude.
You've got the hard facts right there from Peter Navarro and others that show that this thing was
the hard facts from Peter Navarro. Oh, tap the brakes.
Stolen, and you have a 100%. Venue finally produce it. So walk us through what's your argument to the president why he should do what Cortez got up on the national polls. He came in. He says that's the case you have to argue. What is your argument,
Steve.
Father? Then why is it 100%?
Well, first of all, it depends on the case they make against him. If the case is mainly that he caused this, he caused the insurrection.
Yes, that he prepped his people for it. He told them to show up. It's going to be wild. He said, you're going to have to fight. The stuff that about peaceably walking up to the White House or to the Capitol was in the teleprompter. All of his followers know that the real Trump is between the lines. He goes off teleprompter and says, you're going to have to fight like hell. You got to be strong. I'll be with you. We're all going to walk up there. And I'm not happy with Mike Pence. We're all going to have to do that. Yeah, that's the case you're going to have to fight.
The defense is going to have to show that this thing was planned and that a lot of the people involved in the planning, Antifa, and then even some right-wing groups were enemies of his. And that
right. Okay, so there we go. The first introduction that right-wing enemies of Trump, people so far to the right of Trump that they were just horrified by maybe not enough child separation at the border. The wall wasn't tall enough. Mexico didn't pay for it, and they just held a grudge.
They were doing it in order to hurt him.
Yeah, that's what it was. Here's a good idea. Let's all storm the Capitol where we might be killed just to get back at Donald Trump. Think about that. Think about what that would say about right-wingers. Wrap your head around that thought process. Here's what we're going to do, boys. Today, for freedom and the flag and the Constitution, we're going to get back at Donald Trump and all the shenanigans he's pulled. And we're going to attack the Capitol where they are trying to make it so he is no longer president. So we're going to interrupt that process, break windows, attack stuff, attack Mike Pence so that they know how mad we are at Donald Trump, just to show him how bad. Gary, shut up, man. I'm planning. This is an insurrection. It's going to take some time. We're fomenting a revolution here, a fake revolution. Now, everybody, listen up, okay? We're all going to head up to the Capitol right now. We're going to break some windows. We're going to beat some cops up. We're going to stomp some of our own to death, especially anybody carrying a "Don't Tread on Me" flag is clearly a Trumper. We're going to tread on them. You got that? Good. Okay, cool. We're going to lay down some pipe bombs. Some of us got some guns. We're going to bear spray some cops. We're going to break into the Senate chamber. We're going to stop them. from certifying the electoral vote, because this is the perfect way to get Slim. Just settle down there, Jim. Give me 1 second. I'm finishing. Then we're going to stop them from making Joe Biden the president, just to get back at Donald Trump for all the wrong. But Slim, Jim, let me tell you, man. All right, hold on, everybody. Slim's got something to say. Go ahead, Slim. He's right there. What? He's right there. I mean, if we really hate Donald Trump and we really want to get back at him, he's right there. I mean, we could just, he's in that tent over there with his kids. We could just storm that. I mean, it's a short walk. It's right. I mean, it's 18 feet away. Jim, have you been listening? You do not get back at Donald Trump by getting back at Donald Trump. Okay? You get back at Donald Trump by doing what he says. Okay? So what? I don't know. Jesus Christ. I'm getting a headache just trying to create the argument so right-wing that you storm the Capitol with pipe bombs and guns and bear spray and thin blue line flags and beat fucking cops, and you're doing it to get back at Trump? What are you talking about? I do a very good hillbilly. I am one. I'm from Kentucky. Man, I know what I'm talking about. I can go down there. I know exactly what I'm talking about there, man. Come on.
Including some right-wing groups that operate for the Lincoln Project, or have.
Yeah, they got tired of putting up billboards and crafting really smart ads, and they decided, screw it. Let's just get a bunch of people in a bus and have them charge the Capitol. What for? I don't know, kill Nancy Pelosi? That should do it. What are you talking about, you lunatic?
Have been working with the Lincoln Project at various times.
Yeah, that's right. They're just helping them cut ads.
You have a couple of wolves and sheep.
Hold it. Hang on. What? Whoa.
Yeah, explain. Yeah, wait till you hear who from the Lincoln Project. Tell us, Rudy. Tell us. My deliverance spoof. Thank you.
Whoa. What do you say working for the Lincoln Project? Right-wing groups like who?
One of the people who organized this.
One of the people who organized this
is well known for having worked with the Lincoln Project in the past.
Well known for having one of the people. Well known.
And also.
Okay, but who is it? But
yeah, who? Yeah, Steve, come on, man. Steve, you know Rudy Giuliani. You've met the man. When he says somebody, you don't ask him who. Do Bobcat? Yeah, that would make more sense. Steve, come on, man. Don't ask him who. He doesn't understand. When he says somebody, there's nobody. Get it right.
Hey,
Rudy, we can't.
I got to ask you, if I could, another. Who?
Hey, that he helped to bring. Let me finish, Steve.
Okay.
Yo. Listen, he's bringing out the street in Steve Bannon. Yo.
So
Go ahead.
One of the people involved.
One of the people involved. All right, I'm listening.
Brought in right-wing groups.
Right-wing groups. What groups are those? Who did this? Oh, we'll find out. Let's hear.
Opposed Trump. And he brought them in.
Right-wing groups that oppose Trump. There is such a thing. It is the best Bobcat, this side of Bobcat, I will say. Thank you very much. I look like shit. Does anybody have any a hairdryer, perhaps some mousse?
And specifically because he wanted to blow this thing up.
That's what it is. So, you mean the pipe bomber? Is that the guy?
he had the same motivation. He had the same motivation the Antifa people had. So it isn't.
Yeah, the right wing, Antifa, it's shoehorn politics coming together.
As if all these right wing groups were all pro Trump. And the biggest problems, violent problems, were caused by Antifa. That's where the shooting took place.
No, it isn't. No, it simply isn't. Ashley Babbitt is a dyed-in-the-wool avowed Trump supporter. She was first through the window when there were guards with guns saying, "Don't come through." She went through and she died. They didn't lift her. They didn't push her. She climbed through. She did it herself. She was amongst people that were sympathetic. She was not alone. There were, even the people filming it that he's saying, this is the guy that filmed it and he helped make it happen. That did not push her through that window. That did not motivate her to go through that window. Marge Green is not Antifa and is not doing what she wants because she wants to be like Antifa. Good Lord.
That was surrounded by all Antifa people.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it simply wasn't. I don't understand. I do understand one thing, though. I have learned something in the last couple of seconds, and I wonder if you've learned it too, in that the makeup that Rudy is wearing on his face is also on his palm. Therefore, at some point, Rudy did one of those and didn't bother to clean his hands afterwards. Nasty.
So how can he be held responsible for a whole thing that's planned days before he's going to speak?
Because the right-wingers that support him were taking his advice to come there. It was not launched. Believe me, this is again, my marathon analogy stands. He was telling people, prepare for the marathon on the 6th. Get ready for the marathon of victory on the 6th. And when all these people showed up in their gear for the marathon of freedom or whatever, he was the starting gun. So he was the person who called the marathon. He's the person who reached out to the groups that would bring marathon runners to the marathon. And he's the guy who fired the shot that starts the marathon. He's responsible. He's not when he tells you to prep, if you did all the prep, you can't say, well, because they prepped, he's free of he's innocent in this. It's just the stupidest thing.
That has a mixture of people that hate him and people that support him. He's not. So
yes, and Ashley Babbitt supported him and she died. The woman who was trampled to death, she supported him. The two people who had heart attacks, they supported him. Very possibly, the cop that was murdered voted for him, but just did his goddamn job, you cretin.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy working with the Lincoln Project?
He's a. I don't know. I don't know if I can reveal his name because
you'll get sued, because he doesn't exist, because you made him up, because you're talking out of your ass, because you're a liar, Rudy. You're lying. This is pathetic. What do you think there's going to be? Do you think he actually ever names him?
Yes, we have that. We have that from anonymous sources.
Oh, anonymous sources. Wait, I can't name him because we have that from anonymous sources. Well, then what difference does it make? The sources are anonymous. What? And by the way, all right. I mean, this is late, and we've only got 10 minutes left in the show, and I hate to do this, but god damn it, this is aggravating. Let's see, Trump, let's just look up anonymous sources. Trump, let's see, here you go. This is a good enough article on it, I suppose, or bringing up of it. Analysis. The White House's hypocrisy on unnamed sources. President Trump doesn't want you to believe stories that are relied on unnamed sources. Trump tweeted on Friday that people should only accept information that, quote, has an actual living name on it. He's tweeted similar things in the past, warning people that when stories don't mention names, it's very possible that those sources don't exist and are just made up by reporters. And now We've got Rudy Giuliani, this jaundiced jackass. Say that again, Rudy.
That was surrounded by all Antifa people. So how can he be held responsible for a whole thing that's planned days before he's going to speak? Okay. That has a mixture of people that hate him and people that support him. He's not responsible.
And the people who hate him, stayed home, and the people who supported him charged the Capitol.
Yeah, how can he possibly who's the guy? Who's the guy working with the Lincoln Project?
He's a. I don't know. I don't know if I can reveal his name because we have that from anonymous sources. But he worked in the past.
He's like, Steve Bannon, you're killing me.
He worked in the past for Romney.
Okay, hang on for a second. Okay, but
he worked in the past for Romney.
I mean, hey, this is why we're getting blown up all the time. You can't throw a...
Yeah, that's right. This is why, because people are crying bullshit because you got pictures of these machines attached to the internet. Show us the pictures. You haven't shown it. You have these pictures. You haven't shown us these pictures yet. I've watched every one of your goddamn shows, even before he was kicked off YouTube, and even since when he's been on Rumble. I've watched this stupid shit every single time. It's just embarrassing. Show the goddamn pictures, Rudy. Who is the person? What are you afraid you're going to get sued for another $1.3 billion? If it's true, they'll lose. What are you talking about?
Charge out there like that and then say, yeah, I got a double secret probation guy who I can't mention, but he worked for Romney, he worked for the Lincoln Project. Anyway, we'll drill down this more.
I'll tell you what, Rudy, if you want to share that with us privately, I'm happy to help look into it and run the research down.
I will share with you privately the person's name and his history, and you'll see exactly what I mean.
You'll share it privately. Yeah, right. Rick Wilson, Steve Schmidt, George Conway, right. None of whom. How about Charlie Kirk? Rudy, Charlie didn't work for the Lincoln Project, but he bussed people there. They were bragging about 80 buses of people arriving at the rally. 80. 80. Ginny Thomas arranged 8. I don't know why that's the magic number. There's an 8 involved. Maybe it's the 88 thing, the Heil Hitler reference. That would be weird if that's what that was. Oh my God. Can you imagine? I can't imagine. That Charlie Kirk was like, let me do 80 buses and Ginny will do 8. And together we'll have 88 buses of patriots show up and people will understand what's going on. 8 is of course, H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. 88 being the Heil Hitler symbol. So when people have 88 tattooed on themselves, that's what they. Was it 17? Because he was bragging about 80.
Man, we got to keep you on the break, but I just got one thing, and I know you haven't seen it yet, but up on, and I think Sullivan's so afraid of what you're doing, up on Gateway Pundit today, they have, I think, an InfoWars interview with Sullivan. He sounds like a Trump guy. He's saying, there was
He is.
John or James?
I think it's John Sullivan. I think it's John Sullivan.
All you have to do is does this sound like a Trump guy? The big protest in Washington will take place such and such and such and such and such. We need numbers to show up. No fascists in D.C. March against fascism. Spread the word, comrades. F-U-C-K, Trump, Antifa. Does that sound like a Trump guy? Trump is like the official organizer of the J6 Flash rally.
Rudy, we got to hit.
Yeah, I mean,
he wasn't an organizer of that. But okay, I think they jump ahead. Let's see. I think they have an ad or something, and then do they bring him back? Yeah, they do. Ick.
Atlanta, does the president need to put forth that case, given the fact that they're going to try to put him on trial for accessory to murder?
Of course he does.
This is what they're doing.
He has to show that his raising issues about the election was entirely legitimate. That there are issues supported by facts and evidence, and that the censorship has blocked that, and it's become a matter of propaganda. But even more important.
for the record, just so I can clear up something, because Rudy doesn't know much about the law, so maybe I need to step in here real quick. His argument is the defense is going to be in the impeachment trial was that him riling people up to go up there and stop the steal and attack it and harm people along the way, because you have to take it back with strength. You can't take it back with weakness. You're going to have to be strong. You're going to have to fight, or we're not going to have a country anymore. Using that language and going up there and saying it's going to be wild and fomenting this. And by the way, there'll be discovery as well on civil suits against Trump by the people who were maimed or who were killed, the families of people who were killed. That Rudy is making the case that he didn't, he's not responsible because some of his concerns are legit. If we can establish that some of his concerns are legit, then he didn't incite a riot. Okay. Let's say I was legitimately cheated by my bank, that they foreclosed on my home, and I had a rally a block away, and they'd foreclosed on a couple other homes, or they'd been accused of it, whether it was true or not. Let's say they'd foreclosed on 3 homes, mine and 2 others, and it wasn't a legitimate foreclosure as far as I was concerned, but as far as the bank was, and so there was a dispute about it, but I was claiming that they stole my house and they stole everybody, and they're going to steal your house too if you don't go down there and do something about it. And I was standing on this rally stage, and I said, go down there, and we've got to show them that they can't steal our homes, and we're going to have to be strong, and we're going to have to fight like hell, but we're got to stop this bank from stealing our homes. And everybody in town walks down there. I don't go, of course, because I've got another house to be at, the ones provided to me by the state. And they go down there and they murder the bank manager. They kill him. Whether or not I am in court saying I had legitimate complaints about how my mortgage was handled does not give me the right to incite a riot to have that person killed, because I have other recourse, and if I lose that recourse, that's how the cookie crumbles. Tough shit. But I can't send a mob down there because I lost my house, or I presumed I lost my house unfairly, or I'm presenting that I have when I know full well that I didn't, that the default was legitimate, but I'm just trying to push back. So I send all those people down, they kill somebody. I'm on the hook for that, whether or not I go into court and go, I had legitimate concerns about how my mortgage was handled. What are you talking about? You have recourse. If your recourse fails, you move on. It's a peaceful society.
Importantly, he has to separate himself from that riot that took place because he didn't have anything to do with it. He gave a perfectly
Yes, he did.
normal speech like the Ukrainian
No, he didn't.
conversation he had.
By the way, Rudy, perfectly normal like the Ukraine call. Rudy, you were mentioned in the Ukraine call. That's why you couldn't actually represent him in the impeachment the first time, because you were mentioned in that phone call, sir, because you were responsible for carrying the heavy language while he carried the light language. He just stepped on the rake and didn't realize that he was actually putting pressure on and said the quiet part loud. But you were supposed to go say the loud part loud.
And that was planned well in advance. And some of the people who planned it were intending to dump him as president. They thought he'd be thrown out of office as a result of what they were doing. That's what John Sullivan.
Why? Thrown out of office. He lost.
Rights on January 3rd.
Yes, Al, but what if Twitter banned me from my bank riot? Good point. I would be very upset. I don't understand why Twitter is silencing bank robbers when all we're trying to do is post stick-up notes on Twitter.
The same John Sullivan who says he was
all I did was tweet, put the money in the bag, no dye packs or you're dead. And then I don't know why I got put in Twitter jail. I can't.
A Trump supporter. What a bunch of nonsense. Here it is, right here, in black and white. So he needs to get that evidence in front of the American people. And otherwise, they're going to start saying, if you raise issues about the election, you're committing insurrection.
No. No, I mean, you're a liar and you're a charlatan and all that kind of stuff. But when you stand on the stage and the Capitol is right over there and you say, we're going to go down right now and take back our country because you're going to have to fight like hell and you can't take back your country with weakness, and I'm going to be very disappointed if Mike Pence doesn't do the right thing, and we're going to give them the courage they need to do what they need, which I guess means kill off the other side. But but right here on the page, we have to go down peacefully, wink, wink. Anyways, you got to fight like hell, otherwise these things are bullshit, and they attacking our country, and you got to fight or you want to. And the Capitol is right there, Rudy. See the difference? If you said this shit online, which he does all the time, and some nutcase shoots some member of Congress or gets away with it or tries or kills Mike Pence or shoots at his family, you're going to have a little bit of a tenuous line to attack those things. You're going to have to find a chain of where that person watched your show, which they did, and you're going to have to say where they kept notes about Rudy said this, or they put it in a chat room so that you could tie that you motivated or helped motivate them to do what they did. And it's a lot harder to do. This ain't hard. He pointed at the place. He pointed to the Capitol. And they left to go there. And he said, and I'm going to go down there with you. So a bunch of them left early so they could be close to him when he arrived. This is so dumb.
And they try to put you in jail for free speech.
They don't put you in jail for free speech. Inciting a riot is a law. Like, it's been around for a long time. You can't incite a riot. That's not under free speech. Again, this is Rudy rooting for child porn now.
To justify why he was raising issues. There's tons of evidence.
Mayor, we got to bounce together, but real quickly.
We got to bounce before we get sued for $1.3 billion.
Next podcast on your podcast, which is on fire, comes out when?
Comes out, there's one out today, and it's called The Story Behind Biden's Switching on Impeachment, why he did it and how it's part of his strategy. And the one after is going to ask the question, if America's not first, who is?
Notice in both of those, there's nothing about I posted the Hunter Biden hard drive online for anybody to look at. We've moved on to if America's not first, who is? You're going to act like that's your friggin' fallback? After a year and a half, Rudy Giuliani of doing this, like Hunter Biden laptop, 30 years of crime. The Biden crime family is the worst in the entire world. They're worse than Capone and Putin and Kim Jong-un. It's the worst criminality you've ever seen. And what's on the hard drive is filth and evidence of filth and filth of evidence. And now we're just like, America first. If you're not wearing the T-shirt, do you even America first, bro? That's what we're following. Good God. Can you imagine, if Jeffrey Epstein had lived, survived, went to court, was found innocent, was found not guilty of the charges against him, and all of his victims who had presented evidence for years suddenly went, well, let's talk about New York real estate. I mean, is it right to pay $1 for a $70 million mansion? I mean, honestly. See what I mean? It's Rudy's killed satire all his own. You're going to fall back to if America's first, who isn't? What kind of slapdash Tucker Carlson opening monologue bullshit is this? If America isn't first, who is? If we're not going to use Nazi phrases that were, propagated by racists in the 30s, then how do we even say America's first? Would Trump have pardoned Epstein? No. Seriously, can you imagine falling back to that? Think about this. Think about this for a second. Can you imagine this being your fallback? You've been saying this stuff, and you have to follow me on this. You have to think for a second that this is the worst thing you have ever seen. Let's say you, listening to me, you person in audience currently right now, get a copy of Jeffrey Epstein's laptop. And it's got the flight logs, and it's got correspondence from all the people and the victims, and it's got pictures of him and all this kind of stuff. And you've given it to the FBI, and they won't do anything with it. And you give it to the Florida State Police, and they won't do anything with it. And you've got a copy of the original one. What do? Well, first of all, you'd have posted all of it online. You'd have uploaded it somewhere into the cloud, so even if somebody wiped you out, there would be a copy floating around, wouldn't you? I mean, just honestly, would you not? Would you not do that first? Just to save your own life. I mean, okay, your assignment is go watch Blue Thunder and understand why carrying the evidence around, if it's real, is a dangerous thing to do. But let's just say you've been telling your friends for a year and a half that you found Jeffrey Epstein's laptop, that you gave a copy of it to the FBI and they didn't do anything, that you gave it to the Florida State Police and they didn't do anything with it. You still got a copy of it. You sleep with it. You keep it in your home under your pillow all the time. You've gone through about half of it. You're going through the other half. You found awful things on it, crime. You've told all your friends this. They want to see a copy of it. You won't let them see it. A month passes, 2 months passes, a year passes. What do you think your friends are going to say about you and that laptop? You're either lying about its existence entirely, or it's fake and you're too dumb to know, or you're on his team and you're trying to create subterfuge where you go, there's all this evidence and he's just untouchable. Catch you later. He checks his sanity with a stopwatch. Yeah, what do you check yours with, a dipstick? I love that movie, and not just for the woman who does yoga. Just wrap your head around the reality of having something that he has alleged he has, and understand that there is nothing in it that makes you think this is true.
Okay,
I think you know the
podcast. Your podcast is going to be up today at what, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock?
It went up yesterday at 6.
He doesn't upload it. They do it for him.
That's the story behind Biden supporting impeachment, switching positions. And then tomorrow there'll be...
He's always supported it. He just doesn't want to go on record doing it because it's out of his hands anyways. It's part of what the Senate does. Look, Joe Biden, of course, thinks Trump is guilty. He ran against him because he thinks he's a despicable human being, and he's right. But Biden doesn't vote in the Senate. And the Democrats in the Senate don't need any help from him knowing that he's guilty because they were actually there on the 6th when it happened.
One on, if America's not first, who is?
Fucking just... If America's not first, who is? Jesus Christ.
Rudy's Common Sense. We're going to push this, and so everybody gets to it. He's got a show live 3 to 4 on WABC. Mayor Giuliani, thank you very much for joining us today on War on Pandemic.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to bring in Melissa Hooray, Executive Director of the Lindell.
Yeah, I can't do that, dude. I'm already over time today, and I have no interest. Thank you guys for joining me today, and thanks for pushing us past 666. We're just going to celebrate the 666 on that. Well, I'm going to go look and see who was the 666th patron and figure out some sort of fun gift to give them or something. It's got to be something, doesn't it? I think so. But we'll be radio shows tomorrow, 9 to 11 in the morning. Those of you that join us regularly, you'll know that. If you don't, please join us then. You can call into the show. It's a good time. We'll continue doing this. And next week, by the way, is the impeachment trial. It will start. And I'm toying with the idea of basically live streaming it like I did the election for as long as it runs during the day. I can't stop and start it. That'll be friggin' nuts. But I might, I'll do a recap during the normal hours. So people who can't be there all day will see parts of it or whatever, but I'll kind of keep track of what I can show you guys and kind of give you the highlights of stuff as it comes along. But I feel like we should, it's like the moronic version of the OJ trial, but the entire country is Nicole. So I'm going to, we're going to do that next week. It'll be a little bit crazy, I have no doubt, and it will eat up a lot of time online. I don't, and so I'm probably going to have the other setup where I did the live stream in the other room so that I don't have to sit on my office stool for 9 hours straight. But I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you guys for all the support. I love you guys for the super chats today and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, Lorden, for following. Thank you, Bethany, for the super chat. Thank you, Lauren Ipsum, again, that you enjoyed my Bobcat. I appreciate that. It is pretty solid. I've yet to do it for Bobcat, which I think is a mistake. My goal is, he directs Kimmel, and my goal is, once things are back to abnormal, I would love to go on Jimmy Kimmel and do stand-up as Bobcat, as the guest comedian. Just literally, do, maybe for Bobcat's birthday. You know what I mean? Go out and do, 5 minutes of my favorite Bobcat jokes as Bobcat. Oh, he'll hate it. He'll absolutely hate it, which is exactly why Kimmel would give him that kind of a birthday gift. I just think it's smart. So somebody tell Jimmy Kimmel that he needs to have me on doing Bobcat on Bobcat's birthday to, as a salute to him. I'll even wear the black leather jacket and the low cut white tank top and dye my hair jet black. And thank you very much. My mother, always back to your mother. Why don't you just work it out? Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll do the whole, I think it would be great. So there you go. We'll make it happen. I adore you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. And thanks to you guys who tuned in for the stream this morning with Stuttering John. I'm trying to help people who want to stream or do those kind of things, or even if it's just to show you that some of these things are difficult, but they're not insurmountable technologically speaking if you want to dive in. And hopefully, after we get past the live streaming stuff, which is what kind of is right at the forefront of my mind about these things these days, I can do, tutorially kind of webinar things that I'll just put out for free, for fun, for everybody, on other stuff like 3D printing and craziness and songwriting and stuff like that I do. All possible because of our patrons. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the radio show, me and Johnny Million. And D. Snyder can't be with us. He's going to be on next Saturday because he's tracking vocals, and I don't want him talking. When he's tracking vocals, it's a thing. So we will definitely, I'm going to reach out to another friend and see if he can come on as a guest. But I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great night. Happy Friday. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Bye.